History was just made in New York City. Zoran Mamdani, a 33-year-old Democratic Socialist Muslim, just won the Democratic primary for mayor, will likely become New York's mayor, defeating former Governor Andrew Cuomo in what many are calling the most shocking political upheaval in recent memory in New York City, the capital of the United States of America. But here's why this matters way beyond just the city politics. New York City's economy alone is worth $2.2 trillion. What? First of all, that's way bigger than like that. To put that in perspective, that's like 4 times the size of Israel's economy. And Israel is actually an advanced economy, supported and obviously part of the Western world. If NYC were its own nation, it would rank as 8th largest economy in the world in real GDP terms, not purchasing power parity. And now it's about to be run by a Muslim left-wing Democrat who calls himself Donald Trump's worst nightmare. You might remember before the 12-day war, I actually posted a video about Zoran Mamdani and how he might be the next mayor. And I posted a clip where he just looks at the camera and he says, "I'm Donald Trump's worst nightmare." And I was like, oh, okay. So Mamdani represents a seismic shift happening across America. And here's why you need to know. Here's the details. He's a Muslim immigrant from Uganda who grew up to become a democratic socialist, advocating for policies that would have been considered radical, extreme just a decade ago, showing the trajectory shift of the United States. And Fox News obviously won't let him forget it. They're already putting the American right-wing spin on things. I hate the Western spin, as you know, saying Mamdani is going to make America's capital a socialist nightmare, essentially, with city-run grocery stores and a flight of wealthy people leaving the city and communism established, and along those lines is the kind of narrative they're building. Now, what did Mamdani campaign for? Free public transport, city-owned grocery stores, rent freezes, universal childcare, and a $30 minimum wage, which sounds mad per hour, but New York City, best believe, is mad expensive to live in. Now, his victory shows how dramatically American politics is changing, especially among younger voters in the States. In a city with over 1 million Jewish residents, for example, Mamdani won despite being a vocal critic of Israel. Things are changing, guys. Despite being a vocal supporter of Palestinian rights, showing how traditional political coalitions are reshaping. Jewish Voice for Peace, for example, a very pro-Palestinian group, is Jewish Voices for Peace, right? And it's mainly made up of young Jewish people who thought, yeah, we've been taught to blindly support Israel, but how about we just not be blind, we just look, and if we don't like what we're seeing, we don't support them. How about that? I know, game-changing, mind-blowing idea. He mobilized an army of Gen Z volunteers through TikTok campaigns, right here, and social media that reached communities that establishment politicians couldn't touch. So normally, the people that the establishment politicians like Andrew Cuomo can't reach, he's been reaching. This victory signals a broader transformation in how America sees itself and its role in the world. As progressive politics gain ground in major economic centers like New York, like Los Angeles, it changes the entire conversation about what's possible in American governance. When the world's financial capital elects a democratic socialist who promises to Trump-proof the city and challenge corporate power and doesn't mind making radical changes, it sends shockwaves globally, if not actually literally, then at least in terms of perspective and idea of what's to come. Foreign governments and international corporations now have to deal with an America where cities with trillion-dollar economies by themselves, right, this is the most advanced economy in the world, the United States at the moment, are led by politicians who fundamentally reject this sort of neoliberal capitalism, American exceptionalism, sort of old imperialistic sort of vibes. They reject that. They just want to be part of the global community, and they want to be practically beneficial. They want policies that are practically beneficial for the common people. Very, very new in some ways. Who, when asked, the people when they're asked where they would make their first foreign visit as New York mayor, this was actually an interview on television in America where they asked all the candidates, where would you first visit as New York mayor? And other candidates, including the frontrunner Andrew Cuomo, said, of course, the state of Israel, and then gave some random reason. Mamdani said something quite obvious but shocking for the position he's running for. It goes against the grain. He said, I'll stay here in New York and fix the city's problems. a New York mayor who's not running for New York of Tel Aviv yet. There you go. That's the situation at the moment in America. It's a bit mad. So this isn't just local politics anymore. This is the future of American power being written by a new generation that refuses to accept the status quo. And as America continues to fall into a great power status, a great power position from being formerly a superpower, the ones moving into positions of power might decide the fate of humanity as a whole. If the ones moving into positions of power in America, have the wits about them, they could avoid, humanity's next disaster. Will America settle, is the question, into a respectful but competitive, dynamic relationship with China, or trying to hold on desperately to American exceptionalism and the dying world order of the past? Will it lash out and take all of Earth into the Third World War? Time will tell. And these appointments, for example, New York mayor, give an indication as to the potential, arguably, analytically speaking, the hopeful possibility that we won't all die in a nuclear war, but can actually get on together, side by side, just fine. For the unbiased news and analysis without the Western spin, I'm Mahfouz, and I'll see you guys on the next one. I'm going live at 6 o'clock today, so tune in. Also, I'm on Instagram now at Muffles Talukta. So if you want to follow me there rather than on TikTok, or you want to share my analytical videos with family from Instagram rather than TikTok, you're more than welcome to. If you just want to support my work, then follow me there as well to grow my Instagram account. That will do a great deal to be able to help me justify spending time on this, because I can hopefully at some point try and monetize and make some money back, and then I can allocate more time to actually making analytical videos and doing the research for them, etc. Thank you very much. See you on the next one.